All right, welcome back to the show. We got a special one today. We got Nick Burafedo from Link2. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com. Right now, $2.33 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 4.3%, and I'm not impressed either. 59,800 plus for Bitcoin, 3,200 plus for Ethereum, $112.2 billion market cap plus for Tether at the moment. USDC is at 32.5 billion plus, and XRP is 47 cents, and I'm not impressed either. It's off by 2.5 into 24, and we're sitting flat on the 7-day. The range of price very quickly is between 49 and 47 cents. We'll keep an eye on it, but let's right now talk to the one and only Nick Burafedo from Link2. Nick, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Brad. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. It's another day, man. Another day, another 50 cents out here. But we got great news here, man. You guys have incredible numbers that are gathering here for Link2. You got over 82 companies available on the platform, over 400 million total invested here. But what's popping today? What can you tell us that's happening today that we need to know about?
Well, Brad, a lot of our investors are invested in Cerebras, and they're the AI chip manufacturer. They actually recently filed their confidential S1 with the SEC to go public, which many people have heard by now. Also, Citigroup was selected to do their IPO. We sold out of it a few weeks back, and we were able to secure another block. So we made that block available as of midnight last night Pacific time. So for all of our members that are looking to take their first position in Cerebras or to add to their position in Cerebras, now could be a great time to do it. I don't know. We don't have that much, and we never know if we're going to be able to get more moving forward because we just don't know when they're going to launch their IPO. But people are so excited about AI. I don't know if you know this. I'm sure you're following NVIDIA. Their price is up it's tripled this year alone.
Yeah.
So investors are driving toward AI chips, and they're looking for them in the private market as well, which we've seen on our platform. And for anyone that doesn't know it, that Cerebras is actually the fastest training AI chip in the world, and it's actually 52 times larger than the NVIDIA chip. So if you're interested in if you want a position in AI, take a look at Cerebras while you can, because once this company goes public, you'll have to buy it on the public market.
I tell you, the opportunities, and I say this all the time from the channel, and I know people don't really understand unless they're accredited or what have you, or unless they've really stopped to look at the platform. And I know there's still a lot of people to hear about it every day and don't go look. It takes less than 5 minutes to sign up and register, prove your accreditation process, and then funding your account is even easier if you have an Uphold account.
Yeah, you can use Uphold. You can use your digital assets. You can use your cash from Uphold. You can make your investments that way. We now have ACH where you can directly attach connect your bank account and do it that way. We can still do the old-fashioned way, which is wires. So we make it easy for everyone. And what's fascinating to me is I meet new investors every day, every week, every month, who have been listening to your channel for years and years, and they're just now coming over to Link2 to make that investment in Ripple or whatever company they're interested in. And it's just amazing to me that people sit on the sidelines and have waited. But, look, life is all about timing, right?
That's right.
And I would say to your listeners today, if the timing is right for you now, come on over to Link2. As Brad says, come on in. And we'd love to have you join Link2. Ripple, we didn't have Ripple available for a couple of weeks, and we just put it back on the platform this week, and it has been selling like gangbusters. Especially big investors have been coming in buying big blocks of Ripple. There's a lot of excitement moving toward the judge's ruling, or should there be a settlement prior to that ruling. And what investors are telling me is on top of the case being settled for the fine with Ripple, they're excited about the launch of stablecoins. So a lot of people are excited about Ripple. If you're looking to take a position in Ripple or increase your Ripple position, on over to the platform. It's available right now.
No doubt about it. Nick Burafedo from Link2. Thank you, Nick, for stopping by.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too, man. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, let's get to it, everybody. And again, shout out and thanks to Nick Burafedo from Link2. Make sure you click the link to my sponsor below. Proppy, ladies and gentlemen. We all know Proppy here. We've heard about Proppy for years. Tokenizing real estate? Well, guess what? Grant Cardone has done it. And would you think anything else other than this? We're excited to list Grant Cardone's $42 million property on Proppy in Bitcoin, minted on Base via Proppy keys. Grant Cardone lists his $42 million Florida Beach mansion on blockchain real estate platform. This is the future, ladies and gentlemen, and it makes sense that you'd see Grant Cardone, cutting edge, jumping on board here. No doubt about it. Exciting, exciting where all of this is going. No doubt about it. We're just getting started. Oh boy, now let's take a look at this here. Charles Gasparino says the real end game for the continuation of the Joe Biden presidency, if it does continue, is the preservation of the administrative state, also known as the deep state, which sounds like a paranoid right-wing meme, but it does exist. Under Biden, the progressive left has thoroughly infused American culture and business with its ideologically by controlling various agencies, whether it's the SEC or the EPA or the FBI, various health departments, which all have vast administrative stroke to make and create law and force it upon the American people. Biden appointed more progressives to those posts than even Barack Obama had done. And you can see it in policy on stuff that includes transitioning children to the SEC, knowing absurd environmental disclosure mandates. He did so because he's weak and has poor judgment, but also wanted to appease the party's base, and that's why the base covered up for him for so long. This is what Charles thinks and believes here. And I say, let's not forget about the bought and paid for mainstream media as well, Charles. It's been amazing watching those who know better and they double down on a bought and paid narrative. You know anything about that, Charles? Sad, huh? Then there's this guy. Well, this guy's sad, huh? Right? Mike Novogratz. Listen to this dude.
Now this morning, Galaxy CEO Michael Novogratz joined Squawk Box, where he talked politics. He has been a backer of President Biden in the past and said he has donated money to both Democrats and Republicans this term. Novogratz stressed that crypto needs to be bipartisan.
We can't have one party that likes us and the other party that doesn't. And I would tell you that most Democrats, outside of Elizabeth Warren and a small group of people, are pretty pro-innovation and pro-crypto. And so it's been unbelievably frustrating. That said, that's all shifting. And you can listen, no matter who wins the next election, we're going to get positive crypto legislation. I know that.
Okay, yeah. Well, listen, I don't think any of us need to be reminded that when you hear some babbling moron go on in 30 seconds the way this guy did. Long story short, and you figured this out for yourself, I'm sure, Mike Novogratz is not a brilliant investor. He's an inside ETH trader. Period. And he's proven it in his own words in this statement. He's literally claiming that this administration is changing. This administration is not changing. This administration is doubling down, even to the tune of the debate that just happened. Everybody has a bad night. This guy's not having a bad night. He thinks he's at Hershey Park. He doesn't know where the hell he's at. You're in the White House. This dude doesn't even know where he is. And then this guy, I believe personally that this guy is so crooked. I personally believe this, and I'd say it to his face. I think he's so crooked, he can't afford to turn away from the very party that knows probably where all his bad decisions and bodies are buried. Just my thought on the matter. Eleanor Terrett reminds all of us about consensus lawsuit. Remember here, Important news about Consensus versus Gary Gensler. Judge O'Connor granted our request that he consider the merits of our case on an expedited basis. Whether the SEC has congressional authority to regulate MetaMask as a securities broker and issuer, those questions would need to be asked here. So essentially what's been pushed for looks like it will be granted, which is this. The Consensus lawsuit against the SEC, a Texas judge has granted Consensus lawyer a request to expedite making a decision on whether the SEC has the authority to regulate MetaMask as a broker-dealer or not. And it looks likely that that will be a possible ruling by the end of the year, early 2025. So we should know whether that case is going to have merit either by the end of this year or early next year. So let's call it the 6 or 9 months. We're going to find out whether the SEC has grounds to go after MetaMask. This is getting interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Then there's this. The EVM sidechain has the potential to be the main or the biggest use case of the XRP ledger. This is Farhan Prat from Peersist. And shout out to Farhan. We're going to have him on the show soon. Look, I have said this myself, that the EVM sidechain that Peersist has built from the Ethereum network to the XRP ledger may provide the largest mass exodus off of that network that we have seen in history to date when it comes to distributed ledger technology. I do believe that that is quite possibly what we're about to see. And you could have the SEC play a role in that too if things don't change. However, the questions about settlement in the Ripple case are coming back again. Now, Yassim Mubarak calls this hype and hopium. But is it? Because he's about to go on vacation. I'll explain in a moment. The court is inclined to agree with the approach of the court in Ripple Labs, since it is what it is approach of the SEC appears to be inconsistent with the clear Supreme Court directives. That was what was recently stated here, as we know, but that has led to questions, and I will explain. Fred Rispoli has reminded all of us, shout out to Freddie, to expect Judge Torres to rule on the remedies phase of the SEC versus Ripple by July, possibly. He's saying here, possibly even on July 13th or by July 31st at the latest. Now, we know that the window is usually about 60 days when Judge Torres rules. We usually see a ruling from her in her past and previous cases throughout her career. It's about a 60-day window for her. That's okay. That would put us at about the middle to the end of July, somewhere maybe even early August. So look, July 13th would be great because we know that last year we had some pretty cool stuff that went on, right? And let's take a look at this even. If we look at this, as I said, Yassim Mubarak will be going on vacation again. Could this play a role? Obviously, I'm kidding. Oh, boy. In July 22, Yassim Mubarak says here, Judge Netburn issued her important ruling regarding admissibility of Hinman emails and called out the hypocrisy of the SEC. He was on an overseas vacation at the time in July 23. Judge Torres issued her famous ruling declaring XRP and in its native state as non-security, and he was on an overseas vacation at that time. He says we can all rejoice because he's going on vacation in July as well next week. So you know what that means. Oh, boy, would I love it to be so. But here, I'll make a point that's not so tongue-in-cheek. Let's go back to Fred's saying that there could be a ruling on the remedies phase this month. Let's say within the next 10 to 20 days. Look, it is likely we could see that ruling. And stepping away from the joke of the matter, let's take a look at this. We know the SEC asked for $1.9 billion in their original disgorgement and settlement to the judge. Right? Ripple came out and said, no. It shouldn't be more than $10 million. Then the SEC resubmitted evidence and said, we'd like to submit this from our settlement, I think it was Terra or whatever the settlement was, that we got $102 million. Well, think of this for a moment. $102 million is a lot more than I believe Ripple should have to pay. And I think it's closer to 10 million or no million. But Ripple does have the liquidity. And Ripple could certainly make that settlement say that there is no possibility for appeal. Everything is done without prejudice, whatever the legal term is, that they cannot pick this up and pursue it at a later date. It's over. Would that be worth $102 million? Because I think the answer is yes. So, do I like the idea of the SEC getting $100 million plus? No. They haven't earned it. They haven't protected any of us and done any of their job. What they've been doing is under regulatory capture, suppressing all of us and Ripple for the benefit of the banks. It's the big banks and special interests. That's what's going on here. It's obvious. But when you think about it from the position that I've just put it in, yeah, they could go through and wait the process. I get all of that. But if you could get the legal finality that going to the Supreme Court could give you, essentially, but get it sooner, that is absolutely worth $100 million. However, Ripple filed a notice of supplemental authority challenging the SEC's regulatory approach. Ripple argues the SEC regulating through court cases risks inconsistent results and lacks clarity. There's no question about that. It has filed a notice of supplemental authority regarding the recent Binance decision. And what's amazing about this is that we know the Binance ruling has had some citing of the Ripple case, right? Where the Binance judge actually cited the Ripple case that XRP in and of itself is not a security. And then Ripple said, you know what, we're going to submit this to our judge, Judge Torres, so they see that this has been used and cited as law. And this is amazing here. Let me just go through this. Dear Judge Torres, defendants Ripple Labs here. And it's not going to take long to read. Respectfully submit this notice of supplemental authority relevant to its opposition of the SEC pending a motion for remedies and entry of final judgment. It says here, entering the Binance Holdings case, Binance granted in part and denied in part a motion to dismiss the SEC's claims that sales of certain digital assets were sales of unregistered securities. It found persuasive and followed the court summary judgment opinion in this case, extending its reasoning to apply to secondary market sales of one of the assets at issue. So again, as I said, citing the fact that XRP is not a security in and of itself, and it's citing that ruling of precedent for the judge. Now, what do we really need? What we really need is legislation. It will put all the judges back where they need to be, in the courtroom, handling court cases that don't need to be handled because there's legislation that clears the path. How close are we? It could still come this year. Take a listen to Representative French Hill, ladies and gentlemen.
The former president is a mercurial guy that can change his mind, whether it's about, TikTok or take your pick. Do you have a high degree of confidence that the environment would be better for Bitcoin and other crypto assets if the former president, maybe I got vice president on my mind because of what's happening today, but do you think the former president would be more friendly?
Well, Joe, it's good to be with you. Look, I think our fit for purpose FIT21 Act that we passed in the House with 71 Democratic votes is exactly the kind of framework that President Trump would support were he reelected and brought back to the White House.
Listen,
because it directs the SEC and the CFTC precisely what kind of regulatory framework we need for crypto, for people who are innovating and starting a token crypto related firm, how to trade, how to custody those assets, how to make sure consumers are protected. So that framework, I think, is the right approach. And I think that's what I would recommend to the president that he endorse if we haven't passed it between now and the end of this Congress.
Whoa. So think of that for a moment. We know that Trump has picked up the crypto campaign issue to pull more young voters into his camp. However, as Representative French Hill just mentioned here, if the FIT21 bill doesn't get passed before the end of this session, Remember, we got 6 months left here, and we could see a window of this getting done under this administration. And if they do that, they will be taking some of that crypto powder, young voter power away from Trump if they get it done under this administration. So, will it become enough of a political weapon and weight for them to get it done to try to pull some of the crypto vote back to the left side of the aisle? I don't know, but it's worth asking the question. Let's take a look at this. We all know we're ready for a breakout here. My goodness, let's see it already. But you know what? It's not here yet. So this is what we have. Shout out to XRP Captain for this one. Get ready. Our time is coming. XRP is coiling up for a massive breakout. I tell you, it does look pretty impressive right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is on the one-day chart. This is remarkable looking. Where it goes, no one knows. I'm just glad that we're all here for it together. No doubt about it. And right now we're going into the Freedom Zone. I hope you come with me. You know, it can't be all negative. We got some good positive stuff for you to look at in the Freedom Zone today, and I hope you will join us for next to nothing. Go to digperspectives.com and click the Freedom Zone and come on in. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. All right, let's do this. I'm excited about this.